I work with property investors on a day-to-day basis. They are property investors that are wanting to get started. Some are wanting to leverage the current property they have so that they can expand their portfolio. And others are just first-time home buyers that find the opportunity of, what if I find a fix-me-upper, I'm able to do it, I've now bought equity in the property, and if in a few years we really want to sell and move away from this particular area, they feel like they've got that wiggle room. Now, with working with these various types of property investors, the three common mistakes that I find that property investors make are the ones that I'm going to be unpacking today. But I truly believe to overcome these three common mistakes, you need a measure of preparation and the right due diligence to help you navigate the streets I call property investing. Welcome to my channel. My name is Genevieve Stafford Jack. If you are new here, I'd love to welcome you. And if you're returning, I'd love to say you in for another treat. Now, common mistake number one I find is that people are simply not starting. And there's a variety of things of why they're not starting. They're either scared of failure, they're scared of messing something up, they're scared that they've just overlooked some measure of detail, they're scared that they're going to get rejected, they're scared that the offers that they're going to make are just too hairy and audacious. And so there's all these emotions that come up. And I certainly relate to that. At one given point, I was actually just feeling like, what dialogue am I actually going to have with the real estate agent when I start? There's a friend of mine that felt like, how does she pick up the phone to have a conversation with the real estate agent? And until we actually put ourselves in the line of fire to test the knowledge that we have acquired over the property investing training that we had been to, we were not able to move. And then when we put the knowledge to the test, we found that here and there, yes, we stuttered. Here and there, it felt a little bit uncomfortable. But you know what? We got moving. And by taking action on the thing that you are stuck with, whether you are stuck with all the information and you don't have time to actually go through it, whether you are stuck with all the information up here and you're not too sure where you need to start, I'm saying to you, put what you have to the test. And I'm not saying go and make an offer, right? I'm not saying be reckless. I'm saying where you are at that given point, actually just try and understand if it is fear, if you have to do something as crazy as looking in the mirror and say, hey, Jen, what are you afraid of? That's what I do. Okay. And I know there's not a lot of people that are out there like me. Okay. But I know that there are people that may be out there that do even more crazy things. And I'm cool that you actually address these things to yourself. Because once you start understanding what is holding you back, you will then be able to say, okay, cool. If it is knowledge that is holding me back, do I make time in my diary to assimilate and take action? If it's not the knowledge, if it is actually the doing part, ask yourself, what about the doing part am I feeling intimidated about? Because when you start tackling this not starting common mistake that property investors make, then you actually start understanding, hey, where am I in the grand scheme of life? And if I'm afraid of this, even if I move on to the next discipline or the next topic, will I still stay immobilized? And that for me is a huge one. I see people and I talk to people on the daily. And that's the one thing that always breaks my heart. I certainly relate. I'm a life coach. So a lot of the times I ask myself, what life coaching skill could I just put into action here to help this particular property investor along to get to where they are going to? And the one thing I ask is just be true to yourself. What is it that is going on? And if you have that open dialogue, well, as open as it's going to be with yourself, then you may just start understanding what you're fearing so that you can address the components of what your fear is so that you can get started. Common mistake number two is not preparing or properly planning. That is it. It's not properly planning. So sometimes we have this idea that we are going to see 5 properties within this week, but we fail to plan the preparation part by sitting at our laptop and going onto our favorite site, which is Property 24, Private Property, or wherever it is that you go, and doing the research to make the appointments so that you can meet your objective of seeing 5 properties for that particular week. And that's what I mean by not proper planning. You know what you need to do, you know what your end result is, but this planning part, we lack greatly. So I'd like to challenge you, if that is you and you're watching this video, ask yourself, have I planned adequately in this week to have 30 minutes a day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, during your lunch break, after dinner, whenever it is, that I'm going to go online and I'm going to take that first step of clicking around to see which properties look like they may just be your property investing opportunity, and then making an appointment to actually going to see it so that you meet your objective or your end result of seeing 5 properties a week. And I use 5 as an example. And last but certainly not least, I believe this one carries as much weight as the first one does. Is it getting emotionally attached? I've seen how many times people getting emotionally attached to the properties, and I'm like, walk away. You know, I've been there. I've looked at something emotionally and I've seen how many times it did not give me a result. I talk about it how many times. So my idea is that when I'm coaching or sharing or just talking and presenting here on YouTube, I'm asking you to walk past what I walked into multiple times. I walked into that wall and I walked into that wall. It's like this one story I heard. The story goes like this. Chapter 1. I got up, I walked down the road, I fell into the hole. And while I was in this hole, I screamed and shouted and yelled to get out of this hole. Chapter 2. I walked down this road and I fell into the hole. And then I realized, hey, I've been here before. I need to do something. So I tried to climb out of the hole. Chapter 3. I walked down the road, I saw the hole, and I fell into the hole, and I'm like, what am I doing here again? Because I know that there's a hole in the road. Chapter 4. I walked down the road, I saw the hole, and I walked around. Chapter 5. I took another route. Sometimes we are just like what was written in this book. So be careful not to get emotionally attached, because when we get emotionally attached, we are not able to get to our objective. And it's going to take us a while to decide, let me take another route. And maybe the other route to not being attached to the property that you see, maybe it's going down the data route, because the numbers, when you run the numbers, they don't lie. When you understand what's happening in the market, you do your data research. There is so much about property that is a practical skill. And until you address that practical skill and make it part of you, your emotional attachment to properties is going to be there. And the more you work on it, the more you start realizing, hey, I'm in the property game. I don't need to be seeing every other thing as absolutely beautiful. Oh, I must have wara wara, right? And again, no disrespect, because I have been here. I walked down the road, I saw the hole, and I went into the hole until I decided to take another route. And I trust that these 3 common mistakes that property investors make, if you find yourself in one of them, ask yourself, how best am I going to address this baby so that I can get up and start a new chapter, a new book altogether, and take another route. And if you really are but this time of the video, I really would love that you go down into the description, click on the link to register. I am giving from what I know. I'm giving from what I do. And I've decided to give a value add training from a practical point of view. And when I say give, if you go and you click on register, I'm going to give you the links to where you need to show up. You don't need to make any financial commitment to me, but what I need you to do is to give of your time and ask yourself, do I fall in any of these common mistakes? Or do I fall into a space where I'm just stuck and I need to see knowledge and hear knowledge that is bigger than where I am? I wonder if that is you today. So I would like to say, go down in the description, click on register, and I'd love to see you at that 4-day training at the end of March, where I look forward to, much like this video and every other video on my channel, to really give from who I am, but authentically, not making up stories, not dreaming about something. Guys, I've walked into enough walls, and this is why I've created this channel, to share from where I bled from, to see that you can get further in a shorter space of time than I did. And I'm thankful that I eventually got moving. And this is where I see my successes. Why? Because I got out of the hole and I decided to take another route.